Alright, so here is the chicken update. This is the first day I just opened up the cage from their little coop run area to check out the yard a little bit. I got them on the 3rd of June. Today is the 7th of July, so we're going into week 6 now. So they seem pretty brave. All 7 of them will come out and are scratching around. We'll see how far they wander, and the real test tonight will be to see if they make sure when it gets dark that they head back into the coop. I've got to make sure my dogs learn how to deal with them properly, because I don't need to have a chicken killing doggy. Alright, so we'll let them, and I'll go do a quick little garden update. So the first thing we'll see. So as you can see, the sunchokes, or the Jerusalem artichokes, finally took root, and they're doing really, really well now. Next year I'll work the ground around it a little bit more, and hopefully they'll grow really, really big next year. This year maybe they'll get to about 9 feet. Hopefully next year with the proper soil treatments they'll get up to about 15, 20 feet tall and provide me with a lot of tubers for eating. And we wander over here. My second tiny little potato bed. And a couple little babies behind I planted with my grandson a couple weeks ago. And then I started mounding everything up once they started getting there. So moving on. Now, this is my lettuce and my oregano. The lettuce is just, for whatever reason, being really, really slow. I don't know if the soil's a little too acidic for it here, but it's been really, really slow. But it's coming along. And now there's oregano that I was given. It took really quick and is doing really, really well. I was given some cilantro. You can see maybe beside it. I've got to do some weeding. It's getting a little crazy in some spots. Yeah, the cilantro didn't seem to like this soil, or doesn't like being transplanted. But we'll see what happens as the season goes on. And then more lettuce coming up. And then one of my watermelon plants. So over here we have another watermelon. And then this is a sweet regal sweet potato. And then this one is another one, which is a, what they call this? A Georgia Jet. I've never grown sweet potatoes before, so I'm hoping these will turn out. I originally was going to do my own shoots, but I didn't realize how much time it takes to get a sweet potato to provide plantable shoots. So I bought a couple, and in the house I have shoots started that I may or may not put outside, but I might start some indoor pails. And then here's some of my overflow. And then my tomato plants, which are doing really well. These are a couple of little, what do you call these ones here? Sweet tracks, I think these ones were. And these ones were some sweet millions or something. What were these ones called? Oh, so sorry, sweet 100 cherries, and this was the one, if you'd seen my earlier video, that it almost died from frost. It was down to just the stem, as you can see inside there, and 1 or 2 leaves, but it's coming back and will provide me with tomatoes later. Here is my row of onions, 30 feet onions, doing really, really well, and we'll march down at the end. And you can see I've got some squash doing really well here. And then over here is another squash, 15 feet of radishes, which you can see. Let's see what I got here. There. So I've already taken quite a few of these out. Radishes tend to grow pretty quick. Might be able to get 2 crops out of it this year if I replant. I'll take another one here for snacking on. Now in this mess, I actually have garlic. I got to do some more weeding, and it's been pretty rainy the last couple days, and so I got to get caught up. But The garlic I planted in the spring instead of last fall, and so I've got a stretch about 4 feet here that nothing came up. So I'm going to turn that over and probably put some kind of perennial bean plant in. And then we have 30 feet of carrots, more squash, and then my pickling cucumbers. As you can see, they're flowering and should start producing fairly soon. And then the rest is peppers. These are crimson hots, and I've got some Hungarian hots here, then some early reds, and then down here I have my green bells. So carrying on, my row of beans, my replanted beans. I started them inside in the spring. They got a little too stretched and died when I got them out, so I had to replant, but you can see they're all coming up. And my replanted cucumbers. Now these are longer cucumbers for salads and sandwiches as opposed to those ones which will be for pickling. And then we get over here to my 30 feet of potatoes. They're really, really doing well now, as you can see. So what I did, obviously, is when I cut the rows out of the ground, I took the soil and piled it all off to the side. And then as the potatoes, and I did that with all my rows, okay? So then I planted the potatoes normal method in the flat ground. As the plant was getting up, I then started to mound all the soil onto it. Now a lot of people start the potatoes in a mound, and that's it. And so I kind of incorporated, the traditional plant them in the ground technique with the more modern, the pail or the potato tower technique by adding soil as the plant grew up. But I think for this year, I won't make it any higher than that because I'm really curious to see how this turns out. And so then over here I have my my main row of corn, and as you can see, it's doing really, really well. So this garden is kind of an experiment. I have a working theory that by not turning over all the soil in between the actual grow areas, it's doing a couple of things. It keeps living earth, living soil in between my rows of gardens, all right? So the living ground is, it's self-composting. There's... Winston, Max, get out of there! No! No! You leave the chickens alone! Oops, just caught my doggy going after my chicken. All right, Max, chickens are not for chasing.